What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. I'm over here real quick to talk about this little exchange between these two gentlemen over the last few days. Like the video. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you'll know that I'm here. And yeah, so let's talk about this a little bit. These girls started playing basketball. The women's basketball season has started and the boys are fighting. How the heck did that happen? How did these two, giving each other a little energy on the basketball court, turn into, a big fight between these boys down here that play football? Football players is over here in the basketball business, and they can have an opinion if they want to. You know what I'm saying? But basketball is a contact sport. It's aggressive, and y'all love this shit. Angel and Caitlin have been pitted against each other from way in the beginning over in college, much like Magic and Larry Bird. So, Magic and Larry Bird back in the day, they had a rivalry. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird rivalry, a defining era of the NBA, began in college with their teams' clash in the NCAA championship game and continued in the NBA, where they led the Lakers and the Celtics respectfully to multiple championships. While fiercely competitive on the court, their rivalry eventually gave way to a strong friendship. So we should not take this so seriously. Um, Caitlin Clark comes over here to play basketball. And for all of the Angel Reese fans, like I'm an Angel Reese fan. Angel is a fashion girl. A lot of these young girls in the, new to the WNBA, it's a new game. They coming over here, they balling and they fashion girls at the same time. That's what caught my attention. So for everyone saying that Caitlin Clark is the reason why people are watching basketball, some people, maybe some people that are very interested in basketball. I like basketball, all right, but I came over here because I like Angel Reese and a couple few others that are in the league. I've definitely been paying attention, and not because of the fight, but the fight is what, and I don't mean physical fight. I mean, this energy, this rivalry that has been presented to us via media. Because I ain't really heard these two girls say too much. Basketball is a lot of shit talking in basketball. So if Angel Reese, talk your shit because this is your moment. These ladies don't get paid as much as the men's league do. So they have to do various other things to get their coin. Angel is over here walking the runways and, she has her own podcast. And we'll get into like each of them a little bit more in depth. But yeah, so let's get on to where this thing started, y'all. RG3 hates Black women. And I know what it looks like when a Black man hates the skin he's in and can't see a Black woman without saying something disparaging in order to uplift his Snow Queen. He can't uplift his Snow Queen without disparaging, a melanated woman. I know this for opinion, just like him and his opinion. But this is how he sounds. RG3 hates Angel Reese. He hates Angel Reese because she's tall, beautiful, and melanated, because that's what he hates, melanin. Let's see what he was over here saying on his podcast. I wouldn't have even known the man had a podcast, to be honest with you, if Ryan Clark hadn't said anything.
Guys, it's so obvious that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. If you don't know, let me inform you about what happened. Caitlin Clark committed a hard foul on Angel Reese as she was wide open for a free, easy layup. Routine play. The type of play that every single one of us, every one of you that's watching, has heard your coach tell you, hey, we ain't going to give them no easy points, no easy baskets, no easy baskets in the paint, baby. And then what do? You make sure that you go and you get a foul when you know that the offensive player has a free lane to the basket. Now, before I get to why Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark fully, let's talk about the play itself. The one thing people are not talking about on that play, which my wife so eloquently stated to me earlier, was that Caitlin Clark was actually reacting to a foul that should have been called on Angel Reese. Again,
What does that look like when you eloquently state about a foul in a basketball game? How eloquent was she? Why don't you let her eloquent ass come sit next to you and talk about the game? We're not talking about really the game. Like he squeezes that in there, like just a teeny bit. But what he really wants to focus on is how Angel Reese absolutely hates Caitlin Clark. And he knows what hate looks like. Like I said before, when a black man hates black women.
Let's get to the real nitty gritty of all this because I don't like making these things about anything other than the sport. But there's a lot of people who are being disingenuous with their criticism or lack thereof, or their analysis or lack thereof of the situation because of the color of their skin. Some people will look at the color of my skin and say, "Oh, you aren't helping the cause," by pointing out that Angel Reese has clearly shown time and time again. I gave you all the examples that she hates Caitlin Clark. It's okay to admit that. That doesn't mean that you're not down for the cause. What cause are we talking about here? I understand that black women are some of the most marginalized of all time. But just because Angel Reese is black doesn't mean that black men and or black women cannot keep it 100 and say what is literally right in front of them, guys. Come on, man. She hates the girl. She won't ask questions about her. I mean, goodness gracious, we talk about the viewership numbers. She won't even give credit where credit is due. She has to sit there and say, "It's me too." And I'm sitting here saying to myself, Angel Reese, that is not your job to say.
I'm gonna pause right there. It's her too. That's why. That's why she's saying that. You people like y'all over there, probably Team MAGA. I shouldn't have brought that into it, but hey, that's how Ryan did it over there, bringing that man's wife into the conversation. You just lean in that way. You just look in that way, and you always have. That's why I would not probably be over here listening to anything that you had to say if Ryan had to brought this shit up. But here we are. I did not come over here to see Caitlin Clark do anything. I have nothing against Caitlin Clark, and it seems like it's working like both ways. Like there's all this hate created for Angel Reese on one side, and all this hate created for Caitlin Clark on the other side for no reason. I see the girl can play some basketball now. You can't take that away from her. But you have to say, even now, the season just started, and all we're talking about is how, I don't know, this girl mean mugged. That's all on you. She mean mugged the girl. She hates her. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? You're saying that she hates the girl. You know that for a fact, but we know you do not. Because I don't even believe that Angel Reese messed with you like that, like that. But why would she owe you? Why would she need to admit it? You're saying she just needs to admit that she hates the girl. Why though? Why does she need to admit that?
When you talk about what Angel Reese is responsible for, I believe she's responsible for creating that rivalry that everyone wants to tune into. When these two teams play, everybody's tuned in, everybody's locked in. But she's also responsible for allowing and giving people an opportunity upon the racial divide to choose a side that they've always wanted to choose. Always, black or white. I don't like working in that. And I understand that it's the reality of life. And we live in a world that people choose sides based off the color of people's skin.
He don't live in that world while he sits there with his white wife and his brown child. How do you think the world is going to receive this child when she walks into the room? What is going to happen when this child is considered angry and aggressive and, hates black women? And she's probably going to be conflicted. I don't know. I ain't getting ready to sit here and talk about the child, but based on her father's perspective, you saying it ain't a race thing, it clearly is. And I think that's a problem for this dude too. He shows up with these white women, and then the world receives him on, whatever kind of way they receive him. I don't care. I don't really care about the mixing of, races in terms of love. Like you love who the hell you want to love. But when you come in here and you put down Black women just so that you can uplift your white woman. That's where the problem comes in. Because all these things that you're saying about Angel Reese, she created this divide, this racial divide. Angel Reese created this racial divide. You sound crazy. How old is Angel Reese? Is she 25 yet? Like, like Ryan said, you don't have these types of conversations in your household, and you're so blinded by the light that you can't see what it must feel like for this young girl to work so hard and accomplish so much only to just be discarded from the conversation. Did Caitlin Clark bring a lot of attention to the WNBA? Yes, she did. But so did Angel Reese. Like they both did. And just like I said before, this conversation about a rivalry, it got eyes on the game. So if Angel Reese hadn't had a little energy that night against somebody that y'all have built this rivalry with, then would we even be talking about the game? Probably we would be talking about how much better everyone on that side thinks that Caitlin Clark is. I think it's a whole lot of other women, first of all, out on that court. The conversation is much bigger than the two of them. So if Angel Reese didn't show up, then it means her team didn't show up as well. Sometimes there's going to be a good game on one side and a good game on the other side. And at the end of the day, I feel like neither one of these girls are getting their money the way they should be.
Caitlin Clark is a sensational basketball player, guys. She's more skilled, more polished, more exciting than Angel Reese. But Angel Reese is a scrappy go-getter who's a double-double machine. She is.
Now, we ain't going to sit up here and say Caitlin Clark's mayonnaise sandwich ass is more exciting than Angel Reese. Now you're just making shit up.
But that doesn't mean that her play is as exciting. It's not exciting of a brand of basketball as what Caitlin Clark plays. And it's okay to admit that. That is not marginalizing her. That is not putting her down. That is just saying what is right in front of your eyes. Angel Reese's popularity is embedded in the fact that she is the anti-Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese is always on scene. She's at the Met Gala. She's doing the model stuff and she's doing the brand activations. And Caitlin Clark is not. Caitlin Clark does some commercials. She goes on with Eli and Peyton for their simulcast and she does some things here and there, but she's not as out there and on scene as Angel Reese is. That's the facts. You can hear a baby girl in the back right here. She's saying, yeah, I believe you, Daddy. You know, we're
if Angel Reese is out there, and I mean, maybe Caitlin Clark don't want no parts of that. I look at Caitlin Clark and I see basketball, period. If you're talking numbers, we can't deny that Caitlin Clark is, an amazing basketball player coming, into the league fresh. But again, like, why do we have to take away what Angel Reese is also bringing? You can't think of nothing positive. And this is why people say, RG3, you hate Black women. The more you talk, the more I believe it's true. And we can all have our opinions, but you saying it a matter of factly, like this is a fact. Yes, Angel is at the Met Gala. She's got her podcast. She's doing magazine covers. That's what brought me over here to see her play. Not Caitlin. I don't be excited about it. So that's how Caitlin makes you feel. But, no surprise there, my guy.
I'm a girl dad of four. Kids love coming in here when we shoot these shows, so I got no problem with you guys hearing or seeing this because this is just life. This is reality. And our kids always want to be around this. But when I'm talking about Angel Reese, she can't act like people are making her the villain when she chose that role. Okay? You can't play the victim when you're putting yourself in position to be analyzed as the villain with your behavior. Her reaction to that foul by Caitlin Clark was not the reaction of someone who understands this is basketball. This is competition. You just fouled my teammate. You got an open layup. I'm going to make you earn it and go get it from the free throw line. To get up and try to fight her and then tell her that she's crazy is so wild. So I
It's so wild. When we see this all the time, we see this all the time. Is it wild when Draymond Green goes and punches his teammate in the face? This dude, Draymond, is like, you can't tell if he came to box or to play basketball. Is that, I don't know what his opinion is on that. I'm just saying he's saying that she created this villain role. I don't think she created it. I think it was kind of like pushed on her. And so she's like, fine, if that's what you want, that's what I'm going to give you. That's my opinion.
I just have to say I am not responsible with my analysis. My analysis, I don't have to be responsible for the people who are demonizing Angel Reese for reasons outside of basketball.
He just said he's not responsible for people who are demonizing Angel Reese outside of basketball after he just stood up there and said, I know what hate looks like. And Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. This is not a fact. This is something that he has come up. Just like I said, he hates black women, which that's probably a fact. But just like I said that, he cannot sit up here and say that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark and she's responsible for this rivalry. None of that is true. So yeah, you are irresponsible. And you're not talking about basketball. You can get into a couple few like it's a flagrant foul and this what should have happened and this is how you get back. That's talking about basketball. This whole hatred that you're putting on the shoulders of Angel Reese is the reason why people know you don't like black women.
That is not my responsibility. My responsibility is to analyze what I see and use my experience as a player to understand the game. Try to be the villain towards Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, every chance she gets, take the ball at the highest level. Don't tell us you respect her and then act disrespectful. But this wasn't about basketball. This is about competing inside sports. And I will not shy away from calling a spade when I see it with my own eyes. I'm always going to keep it real with you guys. I don't care what color you are. There is no bias on Out of Pocket with RG3. Angel Reese, just say you hate Caitlin Clark and the fact that she is getting all the credit for the expansion of women's basketball at the highest level. Don't tell us you respect her and then act disrespectful. This is one of the biggest one-sided beefs I've ever seen. Because Angel Reese, every chance she gets, she's doing things to try to be the villain towards Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, every chance she gets, takes the high road and respects her opponent. It doesn't mean that when they compete, it doesn't get fiery, but it doesn't get personal. Angel Reese is making it personal every chance she gets, but it gets ratings. And you know what? Those ratings will be even better.
Seems to me like you're using Angel Reese to get some ratings of your own. That's what it seems like.
If Angel Reese just comes out and says it, I dislike Caitlin Clark. I hate Caitlin Clark. Her actions show that she does.
If Angel Reese came out and said, I dislike Caitlin Clark, I hate Caitlin Clark, then what? Then what? Then you'll feel better? I don't know who's supposed to give a shit.
And it's why everybody's. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to call a spade a spade. Doesn't matter what color you are. They're all open to see the observations. And when something is wrong, you call it wrong. Caitlin Clark made a hard foul. Got called for a flagrant. Angel Reese's reaction after that showed exactly how she feels about Caitlin Clark. Because the evidence has been sitting in front of us for the past 2 years.
I mean, he said what he had to say. And then after he said what he had to say, well, Ryan Clark was left feeling away. So then he gave us a few words as well. So Ryan Clark, who, like I said, I feel like has been in somewhat of a rivalry. I don't know if it's a rivalry necessarily, but there's definitely some type of issue. I don't want to call it beef, but it looks like beef between RG3 and Ryan Clark. I'm going to start here. Ryan Clark came through like the savior with his cape on to cover Angel Reese. And I like to see it because we don't see that often. So, even though we got to be careful about these, men speaking on behalf of Black women, I still feel like, it feels good to see somebody like step up and say something because Angel is out here, carrying the brunt of all the, negativity. The negativity not necessarily coming from Caitlin Clark, but the negativity being created all the same. You know what I'm saying? So Ryan was over here on the pivot. We're gonna look at what he had to say about it.
Has this exciting rivalry. We've talked about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese for so long. I think I hate the fact that they're always pinned against one another. RG3 called what Angel Reese did hate. He said you could see the hate on her face for Caitlin Clark. I'm not really sure when we moved in to being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts, Angel Reese pushed one of her teammates. Caitlin Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness. That's rivalry. That's not hate. And so now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, it now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlin Clark's heroic or hero story. Right? The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversation at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom. Now, when you look at it, I think A'ja Wilson is the face of the league. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league. Caitlin Clark is the most important player in the WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now, if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what Black women deal with a lot from Black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I'd like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less Black than me.
Well, that's a word. I mean, like I said, I feel like that was definitely very personal. Ryan went into this whole, you've been married to only white women and you don't have these type of conversations at home, but it's true. But I also feel like his vitriol was definitely aimed at Angel. Like, feels like the hate that he was talking about is the hate that he had towards Angel. So, so Ryan Clark has a biracial daughter, and of course, we pulling that out of the woodwork because of what he said to RG3. Like I said before, you got to be careful about these, black men that come out and cape on behalf of black women, because in this instance, it seems as though Ryan has come back with somewhat of an apology, not to RG3, not for what he said, but for bringing the wife in the conversation. It's kind of like what is this thing? Uh, just apologize. It's something like apologize later, and rather than ask for permission. And I feel like that's what this is. I'm sure Ryan caught a lot of backlash, so he had to come out and, offer up some type of apology. I'm not going to play that because I prefer you stand on business. But this RG3 was over here saying you attacked his family. He kept using the word attacked and how it's a bad look on ESPN for Ryan to work over there. Ryan, is on his own channel. This is his podcast, so that has nothing to do with ESPN. And I feel like, hey, RG3 used to work over there at ESPN, but they, unfortunately had to let him go. So he's not there anymore. Maybe it's because he's not entertaining. Like how he was saying Caitlin Clark is so entertaining to watch and Angel Reese is not. I am not entertained by RG3. So after this is over, I won't be back over there again. I'll put the link in the description box so you can go over there and watch all the foolishness all the way through. But yeah. So after this episode aired, RG3 came back as a whole Karen. He's using buzzwords like attacked and saying that the ESPN should not. It's not a good look for them to have Ryan Clark over there because he's making this whole thing racial. Did he do that though? I feel like he was over there making things racial. RG3, did you watch your own podcast? So now this dude comes back as a whole Karen, and he wants us all to know that Ryan Clark attacked his family.
That's so wrong and way out of bounds. The only audience I'm focused on is the audience of one. I'm trying to please God. I'm trying to wake up every single day and try to get better for my family. I'm not trying to please man. But why is that even in question just because he disagrees with my sports take? I gotta make it be known, like, my support is not based upon the color of somebody's skin. It's based on the content of their character. I think one of the greatest Americans to ever live, Martin Luther King Jr., said that. Hell, he's the reason I'm even able to marry my wife.
This Negro has brought Martin Luther King into the conversation and is crediting Martin Luther King with giving him the opportunity to be able to be married to his wife. He has a lot of nerve to talk about the content of somebody's character because his character is ass. It ain't got nothing to do with who he's married to.
Because back then, it was frowned upon. It was illegal for a black man and a white woman to get married. So why would Martin Luther King Jr. fight for everything that he fought for and do everything that he did in the civil rights movement and push us forward for another black man to try to tear you down and tear down your sports take and make it personal and talk about your wife and your family?
It was definitely personal. I'm going to give him that. I want him to stop saying that Martin Luther King fought hard for this nigga to be able to marry a white woman. I feel like the fight was a different fight and, freedom of individuals and all. And not once did Ryan Clark attack your family. He said nice things about your wife. He criticized how you present your wife to the public and such. Even now, like talking about Martin Luther King gave you the ability to marry a white woman.
That's wrong. My sports opinions are based not on the color of someone's skin, but they're based upon what I see and using my experience and expertise as an athlete to come to a conclusion so I can talk to you guys about what I see.
His experience and expertise as an athlete has brought him over here to tell you guys that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. I don't know what that has to do with sports, but this is what the man said. His take on it, his sports take, his analyzation of the situation based on, I don't know what his analyzation. He played basketball and he understands clearly what hate looks like. I bet he does.
How I saw it, give you the examples from my own career, from what I've seen, what I've been taught by some of the greatest coaches to ever walk this earth. So why make that personal about my family and my wife and my kids? Let me be clear.
I didn't hear him say nothing about your kids.
It is wildly inappropriate. Wildly inappropriate, wrong, and extremely low for someone to try to weaponize and attack someone's wife and kids just because they don't agree with their sports take. It's dangerous to attack someone's wife, their marriage, and their family just because you want to pander and make it seem like you are supporting Black women. You don't have to tear down a Black man to support Black women. You don't have to tear down anybody.
I don't know that Ryan was over there supporting Black women. I feel like he was over there supporting Angel Reese, the fellow athlete that you were over here tearing down. Based on what?
To support someone. I didn't make it personal with Angel Reese. I didn't drag her family. I didn't question her soul. My opinion was based off of basketball. And I don't think it's a problem that she hates Caitlin Clark. I think it's great for the WNBA. It creates a rivalry. And guess what? I said all those things. But Ryan, cross the line, man. You made it personal and some. I really believe there should be no space in sports media for personal attacks. I've said it before. But certainly personal attacks against wife and children have always been off limits.
I think it's funny that he has such an issue with personal attacks, but when you listen to that review, the one that he did previously, it felt very personal. It felt like he was personally attacking Angel Reese. And I'm glad that, like I said before, I'm glad that Ryan stood up for her. I don't know what the whole culture of Black women, but he definitely defended Angel Reese.
Ryan, you attacked me and my family in a public forum on a level that shows just how low of a human being you are. You can disagree with me all you want. Challenge my takes, but keep my family and my wife out of it. That's a boundary that should always be respected, man. Always. Ryan Clark personally attacking me and my family because he disagreed with my sports opinion is a bad look for ESPN. It's cowardly, spineless, and it's weak.
It's cowardly, it's spineless, and it's weak. And now you're going after the man's job. And, well, that's pussy. But that seems to be kind of like the nature of your personality. You're kind of pussy, RG3.
Ryan Clark personally attacking me and my family. Personally because he disagreed with my sports opinion.
I'm done. I've had enough. He keeps saying the word attack, 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 attack. It's giving very much Karen. Ciao. Let's talk about these two ladies. These two ladies ain't said nothing. You boys are over here fighting, like I said, for clicks and views. Let's talk about Angel and Caitlin. So you have two very successful young women over here in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is on the cover of Time magazine. She's, over here at the Met Gala along with Angel Reese. Angel Reese is on the cover of Vogue. RG3 said Angel's out here doing her thing, and Caitlin Clark is not. But the truth of the matter is, Caitlin Clark does not have to. Not to take away from her skill as a basketball player, but the fact that she's white is going to gain her a lot more opportunities than Angel Reese. Angel Reese has to be out here in order to get her money at the end of the day, because what the NBA is paying is far more than what the WNBA is paying. So, when you come in this world with brown skin, we all know that we have to work 10 times harder than the others in order to, be successful. At, two winners here, that's what I see. Two completely different types of women. RG3 and the people like him are the ones that are responsible for this rivalry between the two. I don't even necessarily want to, it's not a rivalry, I don't think that's created between the two of them necessarily. It's definitely a lot of pressure from outside sources. People like RG3. I talked about it a while ago in a different video, but Stephen A. Smith came out pretty much and said, Caitlin Clark, although the women that were a part of the USA women's team in the Olympics, although they were all supposed to be there, Caitlin Clark somehow should have been given one of those spots because she's white. That's what the man said. Stephen thinks that Caitlin should be there simply because she's white.
You just highlighted 7 straight gold medals. Oh my God. We're really worried that they're not going to get an 8. Oh, we really want. I mean, we got to make sure that spots 1 through 12, every single spot that is picked. I mean, it's got to be, because it's pivotal, Shannon. I don't know if you noticed, Shannon, it's pivotal. I mean, they won 7 straight. They might not get 8. They might not get 8. Stop it. You know good and damn well, with or without Caitlin Clark, they're going to probably win the gold again. That's not what this conversation is about. This is about what I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid. And I'm going to tell you why it's stupid. I want all the ladies on this squad to know every single one of y'all are deserving of it. Caitlin Clark does not deserve a spot ahead of any of the players on this roster. Okay? If we're talking just basketball, you know we're not. You know we're not. Let's harken back to the Dream Team in 1992. Remember when Christian Laettner was on that squad? Forget the pro play. Forget the pro players. Forget the pro players. That's a given. First time NBA players were allowed to participate. Don't put that damn screen up when I'm talking right now. I want to see Janae and Andrea, okay? The point is this. Those rosters, right? Those players were on there. Do you know that Christian Laettner also was chosen ahead of Shaquille O'Neal and Alonzo Mourning? You know why? He was a 2-time national champion. He was a Wooden Award winner. And he was white.
So in that video, Stephen A. said, it would be perfectly fine if we're talking about sports, but we're not. So are we talking about sports or not? Because it seems like these guys want to blur the line. Is it going to be about sports or is it going to be about personal stuff? Is it about race? It's always about race. It's always about race, especially in this climate. Caitlin Clark will be offered many more opportunities than Angel Reese. Why? Because just like Stephen A. Smith says, it's because she's white. She can play basketball. We're not going to take that away from her. And it's unfortunate because the very people that are claiming to be so pro Caitlin Clark and they just love watching her play because she's not boring. I guess. If you're a fan, you're a fan. I can't take that away from you. I look forward to seeing these ladies both have a successful career and an exciting season. The pop-off happened here at the first game. That wasn't an accident. They wanted it to be like this, and here we are talking. Let's hope that Caitlin capitalize off of this situation just as much as these boys have over here with all this talk about these women and whether they like each other or not. Hopefully next time we're having a conversation with them, it'll be about basketball. On that note, y'all, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I'll see you when I see you.